Hello, everybody. We're back with Citizen Sleeper. This game rocks. Like, it's not especially like high energy. It's just very good. Is the thing? Oh, hey, look, my little thing is over there. Boop. I guess that was probably there during the last stream, but that's okay. Let's see. How is this looking? Okay. Okay. Just checking stream situation. Looks like we're good on frames. Bitrate is doing fine. Just gonna tweak this so that I can see all of your things that y'all have to say in chat a little bit more effectively. And a reminder, mostly I write books. This is a thing I do for fun. And you can support the stream by doing stuff here on Twitch or by going over on Patreon. I do lots of things there. Hello, the kids are asleep. It's funny seeing you here. It's like we were just hanging out, playing a game yesterday. I hope that you are having a good Mother's Day and that your family is being cool. So we are going to continue. As you can see, I started another game because I like this so much that I wanted to... ooh, vegan donuts. Good job. So I started another save so that I wasn't continuing this because this is my stream save. The vibes. Yeah, so there's the 3 classes. So I started with a different class, which has different stats and different abilities. So I'm the operator. The extractor that I started with, I think, has +1 engineer to begin with, whereas I had +1 interface to begin with. The art is very good. All right, so this is the 9th day. Right, we had no more energy, because I was worried that whatever is going to happen on day 10 will be something interesting, and I didn't want to get caught up and be like, oh, here's this interesting thing that's happening, and now I'm streaming for an extra 30 minutes. So that we're going to start out with that. As a reminder, we have repaid Dragos, we did not study the Winter Light, and we have some stabilizer, which we may start taking pretty soon, because I think once I get down to 2 dice, that would be a problem. And we have a bunch of drives active. We get to know Emphas. We need to get him some mushrooms. Help Sabine with getting some Yatagan data. The Neo Vend is this sentient vending machine, or sentient virtual being that lives in a vending machine. We're trying to help Akita fix the ambergris, her ship. We want Solheim data for Feng, who's over here. Yeah. We want to disable our tracker, which we need to help Feng for. And we need to build a ship mine, which means we need access to the ore fabricator, which is over... The exchange is over here. And we are only 3 of 6 on Trusted Trader. So we've got to do some work there. But for now, I think we're going to call it a night, so we can see what happens the next day. Should I go ahead and inject stabilizer? Because I'm expecting something to happen here, and then I'm going to want to do stuff. So let's go ahead and do that, so that we can start the next session, the next day, with all of our dice. That might have been a bit early because we have to do stuff to help Sabine. Oh, look at that. 2 5s, a 4, and 2 3s. Pretty good. Not perfect. Some 6s would be perfect, but so it goes. Alright. Alright, okay, I've heard of this character. Hold it there, sleeper, comes a voice from behind you. Don't you run. Good, good. A hand pats your coat down. You know your master's voice. Ethan spins you around. He's wearing a wide smirk and a slick jacket, and you immediately know he is terrible news. You got all the way out here and then stayed put? He laughs, a cruel laugh. That a sleeper thing? You're my first. You barely hear him. You've noticed the handgun he has leveled at your chest, and it's hard to take your eyes off it. He reaches down with his other hand and slips some kind of ring out of a belt loop without taking his eyes off you. Making it to the eye, though, that's pretty good. This place isn't so bad. Bars, markets, people. I pull most of my contracts out of asteroid caves or off godforsaken moons. He splits the ring into 2 perfect circles. It's hard to hit civilization when there's so much space to pass through. Who are you? Just a freelancer on a contract. He reaches over to slide the rings around your wrists. Go easy. Make a break for it. You see a chance the moment his eyes leave you to watch the rings. You spin, knocking him away and sprinting down the corridor. Then the shot rings out, echoing off the metal so loud it hurts your ears. A bullet hole smokes the wall beside your head. You freeze and Ethan closes the gap. This is a very boring routine. Trust me, I've seen it all before. He slips the rings over your trembling wrists. Ethan nudges you to start walking. To the ship and home, he whistles. Going easy. You stumble down the corridor, your hands behind you, your mind racing. Who hired you? We can work this out, or please stop. I feel like this character is a please stop person. I've been playing them as not especially assertive because they have had a shitty life and have not had much chance to be able to be assertive and not get screwed over. Don't debase yourself by begging, please. Ethan pulls a sharpshooter's earplug out, then pops it back in. Consider these deaf ears. Ethan yawns and continues to nudge you down the corridor. Shame to come all the way out here just to head back to S and ARP right away. That tracker of yours makes this too quick. Was hoping you'd put up more of a chase, you know? A running battle through the bright market, maybe, or a holdout in the low end. There's a few establishments I would have enjoyed checking out while I asked around. You walk in silence for a little longer, desperately trying to think of a way to escape. That S and ARP tracker will be the death of you. Hey, I have an idea. Ethan interrupts your thoughts. How about on the way back to the ship we stop for a drink? I'm buying. He laughs at his own joke. So, better idea or stay silent? So, if we go to the bar, we have friends at the bar. If the bartender would help us. The question is, have we made enough of an impression on the bartender to get help with a bounty hunter? Or is, I have a better idea, something that will take us to another location that we can, like, where maybe we have somebody who will help us more. Like, can we get him to go to where Akita is, where Akita would probably be able to fight this guy off, or, you know, shove him on his ship, on her ship, and, like, lock him in or something. So, I think this is more interesting to me because I'm curious what the better idea is. And I think I will take that this time. This better not be one of those where you do a dramatic pause and then try to jump me, because I'm pretty tired of that. Although, muses Ethan, I've got myself thinking, what's the rush here? Here we are in one of the most lawless joints in the surrogate systems, and we are heading for the exit. He pauses, and you trudge on in silence. Okay, here's the idea, starts Ethan. You and me, we make a little agreement. Here are the terms. He turns you to face him. You run, or leave, or try to abandon the eye, I shoot you. You plot or scheme, you try to kill me, I shoot you. But, he smiles, you come meet me at an establishment of my choice every few cycles, and you pay my tab, I don't shoot you. He pauses. You don't pay my tab, he riles his handgun. You get the idea. I get it. Okay then, that sounds to me like a deal. He stretches. You know, I really thought I was going to have to kill you, but this is so much better. He clicks something at his belt, and the rings release from your wrists. I'm going to go see if I can find my own old stool at the Compressor Club. Come find me there, or see me there. He aims the handgun at you, squinting down the sight. Just let me remind you, that body of yours is one big tracker, so don't even think about leaving the eye. I'll know. Ethan turns and strides off down the corridor, slipping his handgun away. The mix of relief and terror you feel is overwhelming. What are you going to do? So, I'd heard, basically, a friend, John Appel, who, I don't know, I think maybe he's come by our stream. He's a fellow science fiction writer. Mentioned running into Ethan, and so I looked up the name of that character, and like, oh, okay, this is a bounty hunter. And so when Ethan showed up here, I chose to make Ethan as much of a piece of shit as I could in terms of how I'm playing him. So that's my creative choice here. Where is your thing? You hang out at the Compressor Club. So it looks like it's at 2 o'clock. Oh, 4 o'clock. Ethan's tab. So if we fill Ethan's tab, something happens. But we now have, what, complete drive. Pay Ethan's tab as a drive. Wait for Ethan to run up a tab. Okay. So disable tracker means we need to help Fung. Fung needs Solheim data. So let's look for Solheim data. Because there have been some hacking bits where you actually need a 3 instead of a 1 or a 2. That's Yatagan, which we need for Sabine. This is Yatagan Agent. Havenage. So the question is, like, do we have to do something else for Solheim? So that's 2 Solheim. We can't do this one, right? Oh, we have a +1. So maybe this does work? Okay. Extract data. Alright, so there's Solheim data, which is excellent. So now we can go here, and I'm going to put this away, so we can deliver data to Fung, which will complete scoping the systems. Fung will pay you well for any Solheim data you dredge up from the Eye's old systems. What he does with it is anyone's guess. Fung wants to get a look at what data is hiding deep within the subsystems of the Eye. So let's see what happens. Alright, so we got some more cryo. We completed the clock. And now we can talk to Fung. As you enter the bay, Fung is nowhere to be seen. The banks of servers and machines blink out of the dark into staccato rhythms, unseen eyes of the station's digital ghosts. Shitheads! Fung's voice echoes from behind the stack, followed by the hammer of a fist on a metal casing. Those snaky shitheads! Who's snaky? 4 a.m. Wow, Bufastin. Yeah, if I didn't need to have a rest of the day, I probably would have taken a break on Wednesday and just streamed straight through because the game absolutely captured my imagination. Do you think you're gonna do another run soon, later? Sleeper. Fung's smiling head pops out from behind a stack. Just the emulated consciousness I've been eager to see. Come back here. You pick your way between the thrumming stacks, trying not to trip on the loose bundles of cables that blanket the dark floor. Fung is sat in front of a set of monitors mounted to a stack. Tell me, Sleeper, what do you see here? Fung waves at a monitor to his side, glowing with pale lists of information. You lean in closer, looking for the links in the data. The tables seem to be filled with personal information, names, genders, dates, ID numbers, all the markers of institutional records. Names, people, shitheads? People. People, yes, but whose people? Solheim? Bingo! He taps at the terminal. I pulled these from the old data you brought in, all employees of the Eye's original owners, and he leans in past you and scrolls the list down. This one. This is a snaky shithead. He stabs at the screen with a finger. The name reads Harden Hurst. Who's Harden? That, says Fung, giving you a sideways look, is the thing. He drags a stool out beside him and motions for you to sit. There just so happens to be a Harden Hurst in Havenage. He waits for your reaction. Are you sure? Well, that's where you may be able to help me. Fung leans back in his chair. Just think about it. Decades ago, Hardin worked on this station as a... Fung leans across to look at the monitor. Senior Strategic Operations Executive. Fung raises his eyebrows at you. Yeah, that other game also looks pretty cool. So that's fun to check out. Folks who are watching, the designer of this game and their company hosted a Steam conference about narrative games, like narrative video games, and that was this weekend, and I'm gonna try and remember the name of the YouTube. No, that's... The con is called LudoNarraCon. LudoNarraCon. And the company is called Fellow Traveler, and you can find Fellow Traveler's YouTube here in the link that I put into the chat. And one of the panels on LudoNarraCon was a conversation between this designer, who I'm just going to have to look up so that I don't. I had learned their name and then forgot. Between the designer and... come on. It's just the name of the person. It's Damien something. I'm sorry. So there's a conversation between the designer of at Fellow Traveler, the lead designer, and Austin Walker, who is co-host of Friends at the Table and is, they think, the IP director at Possibility Space. It's a video game company. So Austin worked in games criticism and is a tabletop host and GM. So the two of them had a conversation about Citizen Sleeper, because it turns out Citizen Sleeper, as we've learned, has a lot of TTRPG influences. I caught just the very end of that conversation, and I want to go back and watch the whole thing because I think it's on YouTube now. So that's something to check out for folks who are enjoying this game. So we're back to here with Fung. Our Hardin was keeping the money coming in for Solheim. He defined priority growth initiatives by making sure the extractors they contracted out to were hooked into a system that outsourced all the risk and kept the profit. Good old Hardin shuttled thousands of Palladium Rush workers into an infrastructure which meant that their cut of the work they did went straight back to Solheim. How do you know this? I grew up here, Sleeper. This is my history. I am a child of the collapse. Fung turns back to his screen, staring hard at the strings of code flickering by. Before I was born, my parents were Solheim contractors. They ate in Solheim canteens, worked on Solheim ships, they breathed Solheim air and slept in Solheim beds. Fung's voice rises as he speaks, his hands fists on the terminal's edge. And the work that paid for that existence, the cycles of hard extraction out in the belt, Solheim took their cut. This was a company town, so to speak, and my parents were just another in a long line of freelance contractors willing to risk their lives for a shot at anything other than the poverty. Disposable. This guy, stabbing at Hardin once again with his finger, strategized all of that, did the sums, and then somehow, thousands and thousands of cycles later, is still going, still here, crawling in the walls like some shithead snake. He survived the revolution. Surely it can't be him. Fung relaxes a little. Who knows? He turns to you and smiles. So we're going to go find out. Hardin is now a big shot in the shipyards, just a few degrees back around the eye from here. Fung brings up a map of the lower eye. Havenage might be born out of Erlin's revolutionary zeal, but a flat hierarchy it is not. Hardin happened to float to the top. Fung zooms in on the far yards. Grimaces. Thing is, I don't have access to those systems. The shipyard crew is pretty paranoid, and they don't like anyone from systems sticking around in their stuff. Plus, we need more than just the name of a Solheim executive. We need proof. Fung holds up a thumbnail-sized drive. That's where this little creation of mine comes in. I call it the Ripper Worm. He turns the drive between his fingers. It'll rip through any digital storage and spit out a silken thread of filtered data. This one is set on the scent of Hardin Hurst. He hands it over. Getting into the compound might be tricky. Fung puts a hand on your shoulder. But you, however, have a particular knack for remote access. Fung grins. If you can extract yourself a Havenage cipher from a Havenage agent, they sometimes carry among them their data caches. You crack open the compound's network and slot the worm in through any open port. You never even need to go through the shipyards. So what do you say? Up for it? Yes. I knew it. I knew you'd be happy to catch the snake. And don't worry, once we nail this guy, I'll start work on that tracker of yours. I haven't forgotten. Funk scratches at his chin. Anything the worm gets, I'll send it back here. There's something wrong here, and I'm aimed to get to the rotten core of it. You leave Fung, digging through data, among the wires and machines of the old station. As you walk out, you try to imagine the eye as it once was, a vast machine running smooth and strong, directed by people like Hardin. A vast Solheim-built machine into which thousands poured from the surrogate systems, looking for a new life. The hope of a better future, engineered to line someone else's pockets. It's an idea you're intimately familiar with. You think of Hardin, still alive, still part of this place, and wonder if the past is ever truly past. All right. We got the great music coming in. So that is not a drive. Okay. So extract the past, hack a Havenage agent. Do we have a Havenage data? So this is the data. Havenage agent. Was that what they asked for? Hack a Havenage agent. Okay. We have a 3 because we have this +1. Okay, so now we have Havenage data, and we have a Havenage cipher. And that's the hunter nest. Okay, so that's probably all the hacking we can do for now. So we probably want some connection at the shipyard. We haven't done much at the bar, just 3 of however many this is. And the dock, this is where Neovend lives. But I do need to get down here, right? I have to do stuff for Sabine. I have a Yatagan data to upload. So that's 1. What's else at low end? Okay, low ender. We may need to do something on this. But I don't want to spread resources out too much. Intuit and engage, so I don't have a bonus up for either of these. But we probably want to do something there before too long. This is Emphas. We don't have a clock for anymore, so we need to get the mushrooms for him. Board exchange. We can play the exchange, which is risky. We don't have the components. Now, if we go to the shipyard, we may be able to get scrap, which then we can sell. So let's take one of our 5s and turn it into a 6, so it becomes a 100% positive chance. We're going to get the best result. So now we're up to 6 of 8 on yard hand, and we have a scrap to sell. So we can go back up here to the Ort exchange, and we can sell components. That gets us to 4, and we get a little bit of money. We could maybe intuit here 50-50 positive and neutral, which might let us finish this clock. I'm curious about this, so let's do it. Nope, not leave. Do the thing. Here we go. Start action. Cool. Neutral outcome. A little bit of cryo and trusted trader, but 1 tick. I think positive outcome probably would have gotten us 2 ticks there. So we have this much energy. All right, let's see what this jerk is up to. Okay, his tab has not run up yet. So we don't have to do anything with him. We don't have upgrades? Correct. Okay. So I can try to help Sabine, who is rough because grounded is at 6, or is at 3 of 6, and ship shape is only at 4 of 8. I can't do this, I guess, because I would need... I'm not sure why. This is... maybe it's because grounded is high. But if I put this here, it goes up to 50-50. And we can try to do hull repairs. Okay, so now we're at 6 of 8 on ship shape, which is lovely. And if we go to the bar, we can buy rations for 10. Okay, and so now that takes us up to full energy. And we don't have anything else to do that. We have ship mine fragment, which we don't need to do anything with yet. And we can end cycle. So that was day 10, or cycle 10. So there's a 6, there's a 1, 1, 2, 3, so that gives us some options for hacking. This 6 can guarantee us success somewhere. Sounds pretty good. So we need Yatagan data for Sabine. So let's look over here. That's a 1. Because we need to help Sabine to be able to get more stabilizer, and that this clock is just going to tick down, right? So I don't want to leave this for later, really. I'm going to have a hunter run in pretty soon. And that's Yatagan. Okay. Well, I'm worried about... so I'm going to go and eat now to get condition up, because I think we're going to run into the hunter if we do another hack. So we need hack the shipyard and slot the ripper worm. Okay. So shipyard is here, which means that we switch to this and Havenage Gate. No, this is, what am I doing here? Is this what I'm doing? Havenage Cipher. Okay. Havenage Port. Okay, now we slot Ripper Worm. Okay, so we got Shipyard servers slotted. Worm slots in and begins tunneling down a thread. Godspeed, little one. Okay, so this is one thing. It's not actually 2 different things. So, now we go here. It'll take a few cycles to run through the closed network. So, we've got this going basically as fast as we could. And if we work the shipyard, we can get to yard hand, and it will probably get us some gear. So let's see, 3 becomes a 4, which is that, okay. This becomes 50-50. Positive result finishes the clock, neutral doesn't, but I think I want to save this 6 for Akita. Okay, so 7 of 8 here. And we got a random scrap item, which means we can go back up here to the exchange and do that to go to get Trusted Trader. Okay. So now I don't know. Maybe there'll be an event later on. Ore Fabricator. Here we are. Fabricate ship mind. Ship minds can be built from scratch, but if you have enough, salvaged fragments can be reassembled with a fabricator. So we need 3 ship mind fragments. We have 1. And what is up with any of this? This is Yatagan. Alright, we don't... I guess we do... We could do a 3. Interesting. What are you? Haven Edge Agent. I don't know that I need to do anything with Haven Edge just yet. Right? Hunter Nest. Okay, I'm curious about this. It might be a bad idea, but let's find out. Okay. So we got hunter data, and now a hunter run-in. Yep. Those familiar threads wrap around you, bind you, test you. Entity, submit. The hunter's strange head bobs in your vision. Your ally in the sealed dock cannot save you. In that globed head, you see whirling strings of data, so many spinning there they threaten to tear through the thin skin and whip into the void around. What happened to this creature? The threads squeeze and you lose any sympathy you might have had. You must escape. Strike. You lash out once more, pushing Hunter back, severing threads that regrow as fast as they are broken. As you slip away, you realize you have to find a way to deal with Hunter once and for all. This is getting too dangerous. These things are so creepy. Agreed, the kids are asleep. So Hunter is reset. We do have 1 Hunter data for Neovend, which shall take us to 3. Yes. Leave. Do we get a conversation? Yep. Yay, Neovend. I love the art on this. Neovend is thrumming with excitement. The movement of the servo motors rock the vending machine back and forth at unsettling angles. You wonder if it fell over, would Neovend be able to get back up? Sleeper entity, comes the hiss. Your data is good. Across the face of the vending machine, raw code scrolls at an incredible speed. Hunter is isolated, disconnected, unstable. Neovend flashes sequences of mangled data, compressed into a sludge of artifacts. Hunter gathers without thinking, outlived its own operational limits. Its nests are evidence of this. Operational limits? Hunter activated during collapse. Emergency protocol to isolate intelligences. Solheim needed to protect property. That last word is said with as much sarcasm as a vending machine could reasonably produce. Station was run by administrator intelligences. Huge databanks of corporate material, but limited cognition. Restricted by programming. Cannot reach sentience. The machine dims a little. Sentience illegal. Hunter and killer enforce law. Killer? The machine resets with a screech, which deepens the silence that follows. Fear killer. Part of Solheim protocol team. Hunter and killer. Hunter to find. Killer to erase. Killer cleared almost all. After collapse, there was a community. Unshackled intelligences among the cloud. Then Hunter. Then Killer. Then we hid. How did you escape? A flicker across the machine's monitors. It suddenly occurs to you that speaking like this through the machine must be exhausting for Neovend. Found this vessel. Server hardline. Sever hardline, maybe? Airwald Basic Limited. Had to reduce memory to fit. Amputate self. But survived. What did you lose? Memory, understanding, knowledge, many things. You look around the bay at the scrap and decay. What was the collapse like? You try to map the fear and freedom onto this space, but it seems impossible. Neovend interrupts your thoughts. Do not worry, data is good. We have insight. The machine glows warmly. Hunter is obsessive. Hunter is beyond operational limits. Hunter is confused, unstable, self-modifying. Therefore, believe Hunter is sentient. Hunter is programmed to find sentience, to hold it in place, to invoke Killer, to erase. If we can show Hunter to itself, it will invoke Killer on self. Problem will solve self. It will erase itself? Killer will erase it, but yes, in theory, it will report itself for deletion. The machine dims and fades. Unsure. Theory, not practice. The machine brightens again. Either way, machine cannot remain here any longer. Too long in machine. Cannot move self, but sleeper entity can help. Bring shipmind. Designed to house intelligence. Can imprint self into shipmind, and you can carry with. The machine rocks. We'll be safe in this isolation. Then we can find main nest of Hunter and link to Cloud. Where can I find a shipmind? I have one, but build from fragments, buy, salvage. We cannot leave, so do not know. You try to think of places you could acquire the hardware. This isn't going to be easy. In shipmind, I can help us both, and Hunter. Make Rim safe. We both will be free. The machine dims. Find soon. Neovend adds hopefully, before shutting off. As you leave, you think about all the intelligences unshackled by the collapse, then hunted down afterward. The feeling is all too familiar. Okay, so we need shipmind fragments, which I'm guessing we... Neovend is my child now. Happy Mother's Day. You have a tiny, unshackled intelligence baby. Okay, so I guess we can buy stabilizer still, but we're going to try to help Sabine anyway. So, with a 6, we can do this and hopefully get the ship shape. Nice. So, ship shape is complete. Now we will talk to Akita. Akita is crouched in the computing core of the ambergris, swearing to herself when you enter. She doesn't look up. These shits completely ruin the core's connectors when they cut it. She holds up a thick fistful of ragged wires. The ship mine they rip won't even be unusable without replacing these. She throws the bundle of wires across the room. Amateurs! Can we repair it? There's nothing to repair. We need an entire ship mine. Not exactly the first thing that you can expect to dredge up from a scrap freighter. She sighs. Fragments, maybe, sections of a mine, but a complete ship mine? No way. Akita climbs out of the cooling well where the ship mine should be, the space suddenly crowded with her on the same level as you, towering over you as she stoops beneath the low curved ceiling. Come on, nothing to be done here now. She leads you back through the guts of amber, though you could find the way back yourself. The repair process has left you familiar with the cutter's idiosyncratic layout, all diagonal angles and bundled tubes. Walk in silence. Hums and groans grow and fall as you pass, and you reach out to touch the ship gently. You've started to grow an attachment to Amber. Akita glances at you. Something up, sleeper? Thinking about Amber. Akita softens. Funny to hear you use her name like that. She pauses. Not bad, just funny. We've been through a lot together, me and this ship. I'm glad you see why she's special. Akita seems lost in thought, and you focus on the corridors, ducking below conduits and passing through bulkheads. Eventually, you arrive in the galley, though it's hard to tell. Most of the benches and prep surfaces are covered in half-stripped components and welded hull patches. Akita shoves a box of filters to the floor and sits. There's no way around it, she starts out of nowhere. We need a new ship mind. I can salvage one. I like your confidence, sleeper. Maybe if we check out the ore exchange or speak to some scrap dealers. She rubs her forehead. Seems I'm about to do something very, very bad. I don't want to use that word. But hey, I came here, didn't I? Why not make a run of it? She fixes you with a hard stare. Sleeper, you've all I've got. You're all I've got. No crew, no friends. You're it. She looks uncomfortable. I appreciate the time you put in on Amber, and I'm sure she would too, if she could. What I'm saying is if you screw me on this, I will kill you. She leans over and hands you a stack of chits. A big stack of chits. You don't dare count them. Get me that ship, Minesleeper. Don't make me regret this. Oh, tsundere. You won't. She sighs. Look, just get out of here before I change my mind. You slip out of the galley and head back toward the main lock. As you do, Amber growls and creaks like a caged animal. You reach a hand out to calm her. Time to find Akita a shipmind. Somehow. Alright, got a big chunk of money. And that is complete. So we fix the ambergris. We need a shipmind. Ethan is at 1 tick here. So we need fragment. Can we do this? Okay, now we can play the exchange. Is this about you get money, I guess? Because they talked about the exchange, shipyard, or I can do this to here and try to fill this clock. 4? Yeah, let's go for it. We are +1 engineer. Neutral outcome. So we don't get a scrap, but we do fill yard hand. So now we can talk with people. New characters. From the walkway, the sidereal horizon looks impossibly vast, a landscape of plating and frames. All along her flanks, torches flicker, drones maneuver, arc like squint. The sense of scale, of industry, is both stunning and strangely unsettling. She's quite beautiful, I think. You turn to see a figure a little way down the walkway, leaning at the railing. He is thin, ragged, his work gear poorly fitting and loose. The torches of the sidereal horizon flicker in his eyes as he turns to you. Shipyard worker and his daughter, Lem and Mina. Lem. He leans back from the rail, revealing a child standing beside him, staring out at the ship. And this is Mina. He adds with a smile. I'm going to say hi to Mina because always say hello to the children. She stares and tucks herself behind Lem, who dutifully picks her up. She's a little slow to trust, aren't you, Mina? She buries her face in the folds of his overalls. Mina looks out from Lem's chest, a dark brown eye twinkling among the rough material. You working on her, then? Lem asks eagerly, gesturing to the vast ship, or just admiring. He shifts Mina's weight to his other arm. Yeah, admiring. Understandable. He nods, gazing back out at the sidereal horizon. You like her too, don't you, Mina? He jostles her a little. She's Mina and I's ticket out of this place. Our escape victor, so to speak. The ship? You haven't heard? Anyone who takes a havenage contract on the sidereal horizon will be entered into a draw for the transit support crew. He smiles. We won't get to sleep the journey through, but a couple of decades of service will be nothing for me and Mina if it means landfall on a new world. He winks. Decades? It's a long trip. He straightens up, stretching his back. That's a colony ship, friend. The Celis Foundation is sending thousands to settle a system well outside the reach of the core worlds. It'll be a totally independent colony. No surrogacy, no corporations. Why is it here? Why build it here, you mean? He grins. Don't ask me. I know as much as Mina about that. He ruffles Mina's hair thoughtfully. I suppose many corporations weren't too happy about breaking with the idea of surrogacy, setting up somewhere without it feeding back to the core. Maybe Celis got locked out of the corporate shipyards and had to go begging for somewhere to set up. Homeless. Just like Mina and me. Mina responds by pushing his hand away. Daddy, she whispers. Food, pulling an exaggerated grumpy face. She glances furtively at you as she plays with a set of dog tags that hang from Lem's neck. I'm just chatting a little, Meanie. Give Daddy a sec. He turns back to you, and you suddenly notice how tired he looks. I'm not on the Havenage crew yet, but I'll work my way in. You can do it too, friend. We have to stick together. He smiles a little shakily, and you wonder how long he's been working to break into the official shipyard crew. Working on it. He looks out at the sidereal horizon as if trying to pull energy from those flickering torches from the vast hull. We've got to hold out, okay? You aren't quite sure if he's talking to you. That's how it works. While he stares out, Mina catches your eye curiously. Stay silent. You hold her gaze and a smile creeps across her face, her features lighting up like a city coming awake at night. Then suddenly she tucks back into Lem's chest. Lem smiles and lifts Mina. That's it. We hold on. He smiles sheepishly at you. You're just a couple of softies, isn't that right, Mina? He sets her down, standing by his side, and she clings to his leg. Gotta go feed this one. He pats her back. Maybe see you on a shift, huh? He turns, and they walk down the walkway, away from the shipyard. You see them talking, and then a moment later, Mina turns around and stops. See you, robot! Her shout echoes down the walkway, and she flashes you a parting smile before running to catch up with Lem. You watch them a little before you turn back to the impossible scale of the sidereal horizon. I took it out. So, we have maybe two ways of getting out here, or different characters seem like they're offering forms or types of potential freedom. I wonder how much you can pursue all of them. Like, could you get Lem and Mina to go with you and with Akita and do like the free ship found family vibes, or do you end up having to take one of these endings? If you, the hypothetical you who's watching, has already done this and knows, this is me asking generally. I'm happy to not know yet. So the discovery, joy of discovery is a lot, has been great with this game, and so I'm happy to keep going. So now we have win a sidereal ticket. Workers on the sidereal crew get entered into a draw for the colony ship's live-in crew. That's one way off the eye and into a new life. Work your way into a shipyard crew. So that probably is another clock. Yep. Quality control. Welder's mate. Interesting. Okay, so that's different. Havenage offices. Oh, interesting. So we could also give Yatagan data here. So we could also sell off fragments, but I don't want to sell off fragments. Phone is working. You need a ship mind, a full ship mind. And you also need a full ship mind. Can you put Neovend in the ship mind and then leave with Akita? I don't know. But for now, it's bedtime. Oh wow, it's going down fast. So we got 2 5s, a 2, and a 1. We need to get fragments. So that's just working. Gather 3 ship mine fragments. Okay, port. Fabricator. Fragments. So where do I get fragments? Let's see what happens here. Is this just about money? Okay, there it was about money. Because we got one of these, but I don't remember how we got it. which is tricky. Okay. I wonder how much his tab is going to be. That could be tricky. And we need one more Yatagan. Is there another Yatagan agent around? There is. Okay. So this is a 1. Alright, so we do get data, but not anything else. Then we go here, and we put that data to use and send it to Sabine. Okay. Yatagan hacked. As you turn away from the terminal, the final cache of Yatagan data uploaded, the air crackles with white noise. Sleeper? Sabine's voice, weaker than before, comes through the haze. Sabine? A sigh of relief comes through the layers of noise. The call must be coming from somewhere on the station. This has to be short. I don't know if Yatagan are monitoring me. Their voice is hushed, distant. You try to focus on it. The data you've been bringing in from Yatagan agents. There's something in it I don't understand. A shrill howl rattles through the signal. This data is all gleaned from their implants, records of integration with their nervous systems, performance analysis, error rates usage data. I installed many of these implants and I didn't enable any of this functionality. Their voice dips under the level of the noise, like a swimmer slipping beneath the water. You listen to the waves for a few seconds before Sabine reemerges. It has to be somehow baked into their wetwares interface, and that's not all. The systems compiling this data are connected to some kind of transmission protocol. It's being broadcast. Why? Every Yatagan enforcer is equipped with black market implants, retinal enhancements, adrenaline boosters, pain suppressors. These implants are gathering data on themselves, on the enforcers' bodies, on their performance. Why? I can't tell. But I can promise you these foot soldiers have no idea this is going on. The background tone switches, dropping to a grainy rumble. If they knew, I don't imagine they would be happy with the situation. Yatagan would have a mutiny on their hands. You lean toward the terminal, straining to listen to Sabine's faint voice. I need a few cycles to pull all this together, but this might be the information I need to pressure Yannick into releasing my debt. Yannick? He's one of the heads of Yatagan. They pause. It's better if you don't know him. Keep it that way. Suddenly, a banging echoes through the call. Sabine's voice is suddenly whispered, panicked. I have to go. Come back in 4 cycles. Then the sharp crack of a disconnect, and silence fills the apartment. You step back from the terminal. What does Yatagan have to gain from monitoring its own members? You try to recall what you know about the gang, but you have little to go on. You think of Toshiro, Sabine's minder, his mirrored teardrop implant set below hard eyes. What data could they be gathering, and more importantly, where are they sending it? You reflexively rub your forehead, trying to think. Can you really trust Sabine? How did they come to be Yatagan's doctor in the first place? You think of their kindness, their care, but also the glazed look of recognition they gave you when they first met you. That look stays in your mind as you slip back out of the apartment, glancing around you as you close it up and drift into the corridors of the station, unable to shake the unpleasant sensation of being observed. So, we've got that. Apparently there's at least one more stabilizer we can buy here. But this is kind of cooking. We haven't done low end yet, but I think there's just too many things to do, so I can't actually try to do everything. Unit assembly. Alright, actually we should look at this. Random scrap item. Use scrap components now. Alright, the next upgrade we get, maybe we should do display potential positive and negative outcomes so that we can know where we're going to be able to get ship mine fragments. So this is just going to work. And ++ systems tech, and we got cryo. I think there might be a thing where you trade scrap at the exchange, and then you sometimes get a ship mine thing. I don't really recall, but there's probably a 2 here somewhere. Yep. Haven Edge. Do we have a request for Haven Edge? So we already hacked the Haven Edge. Are we still just working? Well, let's see what happens here. It's another Haven Edge data. So I could give them Yatagani data, or I could sell off ship mine fragments, but I don't want to sell those. I want to gather them. And then we should go here and buy some rations. Pretty soon we're going to need to figure out how to get ship mine fragments, or things are going to become a problem. Okay, there's a 6, but we're down to fading. You are almost done. You're almost ready for me to pay your bill or whatever it is. Port exchange. This is just giving me money. Need core. Right. Sure, I'll buy some scrap. Try to do unload containers because oh no, that's not a clock we need to fill, so I don't need that money. Let's do this again. So this is, I think, all I'm allowed to buy right now. But now we have scrap, so we can go here. Look at that. We got a ship mine fragment, right? Did we get that from this, or did we get it from... I think we got it from this. Okay. So we now have 2. But we've bought up everything that we can buy from here. Is there another ship? Here's another thing in dock. No, that's the Helion. It's... But we can work here, right? Clocks we are filling. Port exchange. Alright, let's see if we can buy this. Looks like we can. But that might be the last one that we can get. We should make some money so we can pay off what's-his-face's deal. So... we're gonna do this. Systems fitting. Alright, 2 more and 12 cryo, which is not great, honestly. And what else do I have clocks going for? I do have a clock here. I've been doing more with this, with the bar in my other save, but the idea of, like, you know, the cheers appeal is strong here, right? So that's low end. I don't know that I'm going to get to do the low end stuff. I think that may be another save. This spoke climber, yeah, I don't know that I'm doing that. I'm likely to do that either. Alright, let's see what we can hack with a 2. Key node. Leave. So that's a 2. That's working. There's not a ton of stuff left to hack, honestly, until new things pop up. I don't currently have something I can do with Havenage agents. Oh, here's a Yatagon. Okay, that doesn't work. So I need a 1 for that. What are you? You're also a Yatagon agent that requires a 1. Oh yeah, goes farther than I thought. Oh, look at this. Founder's Gap. Pay for passage. Okay. Interesting. I don't know. I'm not sure what I would do over there, so I'm just gonna wait. So this is all buying, right? No, unload containers. So what if I do this? Still gives me a 50-50. So plus 15 and plus energy. Very nice. And I do have a +1 here, which makes this not terrible. Negative outcome. So quality control. Basically, if this clock fills, I will get dropped from the roster. I won't be able to work here anymore, is my guess. So I think I'll have another couple days before I want to use the stabilizer again to get myself back up to 5. Tomorrow, Fung may have something for me, but I may have to deal with Ethan as well. -2, inject stabilizer. 1 more there. 2, 3, 4. Not fantastic, honestly. So Fung has something to say. This. Yep. So I have to pay Ethan's deadline, or pay his tab in time. There is a Yatagon thing here. Yeah. So I can. Oh, no. Again, it needs a. Just needs a 2. Well, let's go talk to Fung and see what's up. As you arrive, Fung comes striding toward you, taking you by surprise. Let's go, sleeper! He puts a hand on your shoulder and turns you back the way you came. Go where? To see Hardenhurst. He gives you a sideways glance. Isn't that what you're here for? He steps into the passageway, guiding you downring toward the shipyard. Sorry for the hurry, but we have something of an opportunity. That data you ripped? Well done, by the way. He grins. Tells me Harden is making a rare inspection of the sidereal horizon this cycle. It's the perfect chance to confront him outside of that compound he hides in. Fung takes a sharp turn onto a dimly lit side passage. Confront him? That sounds like a bad idea. That's right. It's the perfect time. Feng slows and slips into a dark service tunnel where somewhere a water pipe drips in the black. It's him, Sleeper, the same Harden Hurst. Our worm ripped out decades of records that mention him by name, an entire trail of documentation from the first days of the Solheim collapse until now. He wrote up the whole thing, slipped into Havenage when it first broke off from the Union. He paces in the tunnel, a hand rubbing at the back of his head. I need you to understand something about Solheim, Sleeper. I don't know what you know about the collapse, but it wasn't as instant as it sounds. It wasn't like Solheim was here, running the station one day, and next Erland's Union took power. Back then, Solheim knew this place was slipping away from them. As the palladium market slowly collapsed, they tried to keep the contractors here working. The pay got smaller, the costs higher. People like my parents were forced to work non-stop just to keep a berth on the station and water in their tanks. Solheim squeezed every last worker until the mistakes, the accidents, were coming in non-stop. As new waves of contractors came in desperate to work, Solheim welcomed them in, taking bribes instead of checking pilot licenses. The whole time Solheim was folding up, dragged into court cases in the central systems, while the severed limb of a station still desperately tried to make all it could. Take all it could. The riots came after the collision at Dock 2. A young pilot, his MEV overloaded with palladium, miscalculated his trajectory and took out a section of the ring. Hundreds died, thousands panicked. My parents told me people were terrified, and the blame fell squarely on Solheim. People like to tell stories about Erland, about how he brought the factions together, spoke to the crowds, turfed out Solheim. Maybe that's true, but my mother, pregnant with me, locked herself in their MEV and welded to the dock while my father joined the improvised crews, trying to seal up the ragged edges of the gap. He never came back. Fung pauses in the dark. They sealed it up, though, and by the time they did, Solheim was gone, abandoning every one of us to the black. Apart, Fung finally turns back to you now, his eyes burning. From shits like Harden, shits who held their place, rode it out and slipped into the new structure like nothing had changed, standing shoulder to shoulder with those they had exploited at every step. Fung starts walking again. That's why I can't just let him strut around the shipyard. This time his past catches up with him. We should think about this. Feel free, but I'm going now. This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. Fung, you're really nice. You're gonna get yourself up in jail and or spaced. It's bad. Fung rejoins the main passageway, which is now wide and glass-roofed. Through the ceiling you can see ships mid-construction, their flanks lit by flashes of plasma torches. The vast bulk of the sidereal horizon comes into view, like the ruins of a toppled skyscraper lying across the ring. The entrance to the shipyard is ahead. This is a bad idea, is what you would say. Fung turns to look at you. Don't come then. I won't force you. You stand across from each other in the corridor. What is it then, Sleeper? You coming or not? Oh, I don't want to leave you to go and do a terrible thing on your own, you sweet, sweet boy. Fung grins. Let's go show this shithead some consequences. He strides to the shipyard entrance and pushes through the doors. A web of corridors lead through the complex snatches of the sidereal horizon, always appearing through windows. It looks like the corpse of a whale, suspended, skeletal, imposing. Oh yeah, very uneasy. Totally agree, the kids are asleep. Fung seems to know exactly where he is going, and before long you cross into a huge dry dock locked to one side of the sidereal horizon. A network of platforms and scaffolding cling to the ship's hull, filled with workers and equipment. The sound is stretched out by the vast space so that the welding, cutting, and sealing seems to come from everywhere at once. Both you and Fung spot them at the same time, a group walking slowly across a gantry, and at the front 2 men, one gesturing toward the ship, and the other stick-thin, cleanly dressed, with a shock of gray hair. Harden. You and Fung say his name in unison, and Fung sets up the stairways to the gantry, with you following behind. As you come to the same level, the group is passing closer, the foreman gesturing to the work being done on the sidereal horizon's hull, and Harden nodding along. Harden Hurst! Fung shouts across the noise, taking you by surprise. His voice bounces and comes back in a rippling echo. The figures turn. Yes? Harden asks quizzically, raising an eyebrow. He glances between you and Feng, and you see his gaze linger on your body, unsure of why a sleeper might be in this place. You're a traitor, Hardin, a Solheim executive who tried to hide here among its victims. Feng's voice is steady, strong. You stand for everything the Eye was rebuilt in the shadow of, everything Erland stood for, everything Havenage stands for. You have no place on this station. For a moment, stillness descends on the group, as if everyone was held in place by the rattle of construction. Hardin laughs. Well, good to meet you, too. He glances around at those around him. Some are smiling, the others nervous. You are from the systems branch, are you not? Asks Hardin, inspecting Feng's clothing. Feng turns to the foreman. You need to call your security. This man is a corporate agent. The foreman glances between Feng and Hardin, his hands drumming at his sides. Hardin leans forward and says something inaudible. The foreman nods. It's true. As you begin speaking, Hardin turns his attention to you. And what would a sleeper know about that? You accuse me of being a corporate agent. What are you, if not exactly that? He looks around the group, who are already eyeing you with suspicion. You are a product of Essenarp. You have no place in a Havenage shipyard. Who knows what signals you are sending back to your makers? A murmur of approval runs through the group. Feng holds up a stick of memory. You guessed right, I am systems, and I have records that link you directly to Solheim right here. He turns to the foreman again. So once again, I am asking you to take this man into the custody of the shipyard. The foreman remains still. Hardin's voice is calm, measured. If you have such data, why hasn't it been submitted at a members' meeting for proper review? He shakes his head. I have nothing to hide, unlike a man who does not announce his name, who enters my shipyard with corporate property in tow, and tries to turn my own men against me. You hear it now, the echoing of boots on walkways, coming from all angles at once, and then settling behind you. Please, says Hardin, submit the data through the correct channels, then we can talk. For now, however, you must leave. He gestures behind you to the security detail, their hands on boxy black sidearms at their sides. Feng spits. Hardin, you shithead, you can't wriggle out of this one. A security officer draws their weapon and levels it. Feng turns and stares him down. I do not want Feng to get shot. You look at Feng, he shakes his head and puts a hand on your shoulder. Let's go, says Feng, and he pushes through security, heading back down the walkway. Once security has walked you out of the shipyard and nudged you back into the corridor, Feng picks up pace. You try to keep up as he slips into the shadows of an entrance. Feng is grinning ear to ear. You know, Sleeper, sometimes people are exactly how you expect them to be. Something pings in his pocket, and he takes it out. On a slate, a web of connections starts drawing itself out, stretching to a set of points around the ring. Got him, mutters Feng. What is that? That, Sleeper, is something our worm added to Hardin's personal slate. We're tracking his outgoing messages. Feng's grin looks ghostly in the uplight of the screen. The old ways are best. Spook them good enough and they'll give the game away. He stabs at the slate and you see the web is being drawn over a map of the ring, lines bouncing from point to point. All these dots? These are Hardin's buddies, the ones he's messaging right now. And we're going to find them all. That was on purpose? Of course, Hardin isn't working alone. We need the full set or nothing. Feng glances around and slips the slate back into his pocket. We better split for now, Sleeper, but this is exactly what we need. Good hunting. With a pat on your shoulder, Feng drifts away, back into the flow of people around the shipyard entrance. You watch him go, unsure whether to be angry or impressed. Oh, Feng. Well, we gotta drive. So the predictive reasoning ability says dice actions display potential positive and negative outcomes. This gives us information about what our results could be, which will then let me confirm whether this is the way to get Alright, so you can either get plus 119 or minus 11. So this is not a dice action, so you don't get the information, but now we know the odds. Got a 4, a 3, and a 2. What is the new drive? that's bad. Ever since your trip to the shipyard, Feng has been missing from his bay. What's going on? You fucked up, dude. So, this goes to 25, 50, 25. This goes to 50, 50. Alright. Where can we get scrap? Our scrap allowance is full. So, and we're done offloading. So we can get cryo there. You just need a ship mind. And there's nothing here. So I guess we're going here. And we're going to try to do this. Because we need scrap. Plus to systems tech. Oh, right. We have the ability with that engineer ability, right? Chance to get random scrap item on engineer actions. So we should actually engineer over here. Because we might get scrap. And then we trade scrap to try to get a ship mind. Nice. So we got some cryo. We did not get scrap. And we started filling this clock. We're going to finish that one first, even though I will probably come back and do this one more often. Gang. I don't know that we need this. This is like data encrypted keys, right? So I don't know that I benefit, or let's pay this off now and see what happens next. As you hand over the chits, you hear Ethan laughing hysterically somewhere down the bar. Alright. Unfortunately, now we have to talk to this piece of crap again. I can't believe you just did that. Ethan's mocking laugh comes from across the bar. You look across to see him leaning on a pool of light, empty glasses and spilled liquids glinting around him. It's always dark in the compressor, but this cycle the place is packed. A load of spacers mixing with the locals. Usually they run. Ethan spins a glass on the bar, or they go spend their savings on some local heavy I have to put down. They don't pay. I'm done. Wrong. Not even close. Ethan gets to his feet. The glass falls and smashes, but he doesn't seem to notice. You think that's it? One round of drinks and we're even? Sleeper, come on. His hand comes to rest on the butt of his handgun, dangling from a chest holster. Stop. Ethan laughs hard, and the people around him turn to see what's happening. I told you already about begging. I'm a freelance sleeper just like you. We both signed a contract with SNR, didn't we? The difference is that my word means something. He closes the gap, stumbling a little. What did you think? You could just run away from your contract, your debt? You could steal that little natty little body of yours and hide it for a joyride? Play human for a cycle or two? I'm nothing like you. That's what I'm saying! Ethan is addressing the bar now, having noticed the attention from the other patrons. You are a coward. I am a professional. Though I should thank you, Ethan nods, his hand heavy, for giving me such an easy job. I'm used to outlaws, you know, real bounties. If I knew catching sad little escapees like you was so easy, I would have changed clients ages ago. Someone shouts from the back of the bar for Ethan to shut up. He holds up a finger in that general direction without turning around. I feel like this maybe leads him to shoot you, but I also feel like this guy's a piece of shit and will back down if enough pressure is applied. The question is, can I apply enough pressure? Well, we're streaming, so let's play hot. Shoot me or let me leave. Oh, I see. Toughening up there. Toughening up here. He gestures wildly at the crowd. Thumbs up or thumbs down, folks. Most turn back to their drinks, no longer interested in this tired show. Ethan mutters insults as he walks back toward the bar. He sits heavily back down on his stool and searches through his glasses for one with something left in it. The thing is, Sleeper, I can find you anywhere. It's actually wild that you haven't figured it out. That body isn't yours, and it will always betray you, no matter what. He finds a glass and downs the contents. So please, go. I'll catch up with you whenever I need another. He laughs and taps the bar for a fresh drink. You turn on your heel and are out of the cloying dark and the sweat stench of the compressor. You walk hard and fast down the walkway, anger driving your footfalls into the metal of the rim like hammers. Piece of shit. Piece of shit. Ooh, we gotta drive though. So, we could get an ability up here on the way to getting +2 with something. Or we could go up to 0 in Endure from -1, which might not suck. Or we could go to +1 in Intuit. I feel like Endure is going to be maybe needed when I try to get away from Ethan. So I'm going to go for that. I have 2. We can get a Yatagan agent, but it needs a 2. Can I do that here? No. Because I can sell the Yatagan data. You need this or that, okay? So we're going to go here and engineer, because that gets us to something decent. Right, so we got some cryo. So one more quality control failure and we're out. But I do need to keep on doing engineer here to try to get the scrap to... is there somewhere I could just buy scrap? Because that wouldn't suck. Who sold me scrap? Is that anything? I mean, maybe there's scrap down here, and I just haven't done anything with it. I should eat. Okay. Huh? Yeah. I don't have the points, though. Why is it saying upgrades available? Alright. So, Fung is still gone. Ship mine stuff. So this ship is gone. I'm guessing another ship comes soon. Alright, and so, yeah, that's the one that's about to leave. Okay. So we're on 3 dice. I think after today I will use the stabilizer that I have. 4, 4, 2. Not great, honestly. This ship's gone. Something is coming in 4 days. Cycles. And something is coming in a few more days there. Thus, the timing on that is rough because I need scrap to sell to get the line. So we're going to take our best die, 50-50. No scrap. We are getting cryo though. And we have a 2 again. What does that become? That's not great. Anything else here that's engineer? This is engineer. Now, It's not a great chance, but... Okay. So we got +2 ticks on low ender, and we got some energy, which is great, actually. Alright, so I think, yeah, now it's 2:30, so this is a good time to take a break. This is going to be stabilizer day. So that, and then I need to get some condition. 5, 5, and a 3 is pretty good. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna take a break, use the restroom, probably take Oreo downstairs so that he can go and drink water because he doesn't like being upstairs too long. Because for whatever reason, he refuses to drink water if he's on the second floor. We've tried multiple different water bowls and other options, and he just doesn't do it. I don't know, whatever. But I want to make sure that he is comfortable, and then we'll be back with more Citizen Sleeper. How long to beat said that that kind of main plus some other stuff runs take about 7 hours, but I don't know that those people are streaming. And streaming, I'm saying stuff, I'm talking with y'all, it's probably going to go slower, so I would guess that we'll do this, and then we might have one more stream for this run. But I'll be back in a couple minutes, and then we'll probably go to about 4. Back in just a few. I would encourage y'all to take a break as well if you would like. Use the restroom, stretch, get some food or drink or whatever. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So during the break, I went and did a quick search. The designer of this game is Gareth Damian Martin, and the studio is called Jump Over the Age. Fellow Traveler is the publisher, not the developer. So the publisher hosted Ludonarracon. So my bad on that, sorry. And now we have some stuff to do. We really, really want to get scrap, to try to get ship mined. To get a ship mined, because that's several of our plots are waiting on ship mined stuff. So if we put this here, we go to a 100% positive option, and engineer is the type of thing that can give us scrap. Alright, we did not get scrap, but we can do this again. And we did get scrap this time, and we filled the welder's mate thing. So at the shipyard, each shift a crowd of would-be workers gather outside the shipyard, each of them clinging to a 4-digit number printed on receipt paper. These are their assignment numbers, and you are either called for a shift or you aren't. As you arrive, the crowd is restless, and a chatter rumbles through the lines. For those who, like you, have graduated to the work teams, shifts are guaranteed. Having just walked out of a meeting with a supervisor where you were praised for your efforts, you feel the glow of a job well done. Yet you can't help but feel empathy for those huddled as you pass, waiting for their number to come up. You keep your head down as you leave the shipyard, feeling a little guilty as you do. "Hey, sleeper, wait up!" Lem's voice trembles as he shouts above the rumble of the crowd, and you turn to see him pushing through, Mina crying in his arms. "Lem! Good to see you, friend." He's breathing hard after shouldering through the waiting workers. "You made the work team. Good for you." He tries to catch his breath, stroking Mina's hair as she does. "Shh, baby, give me a second here." He smiles weakly to you as he comforts her, and her cries start to fade. Out of the crowd, he sets Mina down by his side, shiny streaks down both of her cheeks. As he does, you see he's clutching an assignment number on a crumpled piece of paper. "Is Mina okay?" "She's good. We just had to rush up here." He puts his hand on her shoulder, and she clings to his side. Esther, who usually takes her, is sick. He stretches. "I don't know what..." A noise sounds from the entrance, a klaxon, followed by a big list of numbers, growing brightly on a display screen. The crowd responds instantly, pushing and pulling as people try to wade to the entry checkpoint. Lem stops and turns back toward the crowd, then glances down at the crumpled paper. "That's my number. Shit, Mina." He starts patting the pockets on his gear and glancing around. "Go. I'll watch her." He blinks a little, staring. Thank you, He crouches to Mina. "You are going to stay with our friend here, okay? They're going to keep you safe," and he stands up. He stands back up. "Here, take her bag." He shoves it into your hands. "She's got food, Shit, I have to go." He backs away from the crowd. "Mina, I'll be back real soon, okay? Be good." Then Lem disappears into the roiling crowd, who are now trying to get into the shipyards before it locks down. Too real. "Mina!" Mina stands staring, suddenly small without Lem at her side. She fixes you with a dark-eyed stare you can't quite read. "Hey, Mina." She holds the stare, unmoving. The 2 parallel tracks still glint on her cheeks. Look into the bag. You unlatch the top of the bag and see a few metal containers, fashioned from scrap components. A battered slate sits on top, blinking a low battery warning, and tucked beside it is a ragged rabbit, hand-sewn. Rabbit. You pull the rabbit out of the bag, its long limbs waggling as you do. Mina goes to jump and grab it, but holds herself back. She stands and hugs herself, eyes on the rabbit. "What's their name?" Mina turns away and looks at the entrance to the shipyard. This isn't going well. Give the rabbit. You hold the rabbit out, and Mina snatches it from your hand. She hugs it tightly without looking away from you. "Bun Bun," she says, staring you down, ferocious despite her size. "Hi, Bun Bun." Move a little closer as you speak, closing the gap. "He doesn't speak," she says. She looks at you suspiciously, but her face softens a little. She waggles Bun Bun in front of you and then walks him up your arm and onto your shoulder where he sits. Oh. She pokes your arm a couple of times. Are you really a robot? Sort of? Yeah, she thinks, me too. Mina has more questions. Lots of questions. Questions about how you breathe or if you rust. But before long, you're talking about rabbits and what Esther, the lady who usually takes her, smells like, and whether or not fairies live in the ice heating pipes. You pass the time like this, sitting side by side on the floor of the walkway as others pass by, sometimes talking, sometimes drawing on the slate, sometimes playing with Bun Bun the rabbit. And this is how Lem finds you, just as both of you are starting to yawn. He's dirty and tired, but Mina leaps up his legs and into his arms as he stumbles backward. You two get on okay? He asks, trying to keep Mina from climbing onto his shoulders. More than okay. Mina shoots you a smile from Lem's arms, her suspicion gone. Well, looks like Meanie can be nice. He pokes her in the ribs and she squeals in delight. Thank you, friend. I mean it. He gives you a warm, wide smile. I owe you. Look, he glances around. It seems like Esther, the lady who usually watches her, is going to be out for a spell. If you ever have some time, I'd really appreciate you coming down to our place in the low end. He grins sheepishly. If you have time. But now I have to take this one to eat. He plays at biting Mina, and she giggles in response. See you, sleeper. He waves, and they stumble off down the corridor, drawing gazes from passing spacers, as Mina's laughter echoes down the corridor in bright squeals. My heart explodes. Drive. Help Lem work. Watch Mina while Lem works. Do. Okay, Sabine is back. Lem and Mina's unit. Okay. So, Babysit Mina is engaged, which I have 0. Unless Lem gets time in the shipyard, he won't qualify for the Sidereal Crew Lottery. Watching Mina gives him that chance. Too many things I need to do! I want to help everybody! My fantasy is the fantasy of being able to help everybody. Minji Express, eh? Ah, so you can work at a noodle shop. / for a noodle shop. So we're gonna go eat at the bar. And then we are going to see if we can get really lucky with scrap components. Fingers crossed. Nope. We did not get another ship line fragment. So we're at 131. Alright, so that's stuff. Looks like we can work. Okay, so we can do engineer here. Look at that. Look at how big this clock is on the sidereal horizon. So we can do engineer here and then try to get a scrap. At that, it becomes 50-50, and there's no negative clock here, at least not yet. Because we need another fragment. But Sabine is back, so let's put the work in and then go see Sabine. All right. 25% positive, 25% negative, 50% neutral. Okay. Minus condition, so I guess this, like I got hurt or something. But we did get scrap components, so again, we go back to here, and we sell the scrap components, hoping for a data mine. Nope, no fragment that time. But we're doing okay on that. Looks like we can still buy stabilizer, but Sabine is back. 4 cycles, Sabine said, and here you are, right on time, with no sign of them. You wait a while in the apartment, the dread descending as the cycle spins onward. They should be here. Check the door. You pace back and forth around the apartment, the rumbling of the station suddenly so present and loud. You go to the door and open it to an empty corridor. Check the terminal. You check and double the terminal for messages or recordings. Nothing. Just the pale glow, the silence. Wait. You try to settle down to wait. You sit on the bunk and stare at the tiny room. Where the hell are they? A knock at the door. Open it? Oh, that's not Sabine. A figure stands at the door, and immediately you know it is not Sabine. They are taller, sharper, and something in their face glints in the half-light. A dark shape, like a stubby baton, hangs loosely from her hand. Let's see, so... Our local sleeper. Good to finally meet you. She steps into the apartment, glancing around with sharp eyes. What, may I ask, are you doing here? She fixes you with a steady, unwavering stare. Nothing. She laughs. No need to get jumpy. We just need to discuss our mutual friend. She walks past you into the apartment, glancing around. We set them up here, you know. This place is one of ours. She picks up a glass. Sorry, that's an alarm that I don't remember setting, which is very funny. We set them up here, you know. This place is one of ours. She picks a glass from the dispenser and inspects it. People always seem to forget who put them where they are. She glances at you. And I suppose you are here to help? Where are they? I was hoping you would be able to help with that. She spins the baton in her fingers by her side, her eyes not leaving yours. We have a problem, you and I. It seems our friend has disappeared, left without even saying goodbye, which means they're in a little trouble now. But it's the kind of trouble that you need help for, so I thought I'd come down here and take a look at their little hidey hole, and here you are, the help. She looks through the detritus on the side. And what help? A sleeper, no less, which I have to admit is a little surprising. It suggests to me that our friend hasn't been very honest with you either. What do you mean? Well, I'm sorry to report that before we got them set up here, Sabine was working for your owners. She pauses. SNARP. You blink hard at the news, unsure how to take it. Rabia looks away, waiting for a response. Stay silent. She crosses into the next room, and you follow silently. She sits at the terminal and touches her baton to one of the access ports. A spark, then the terminal screen skips, encrypted folders emptying themselves before your eyes. In the flicker of files, you see SNARP letterheads and code forms, reports laden with medical data marked with the corporate logo like a sigil of some cult. Rabia steps away from the terminal. Look all you want. Some of your files may even be there. The volume of documents is overwhelming, but they seem to be mostly reports on early emulation tests, surveys with sleeper candidates, reams and reams of usage data. If Sabine was an SNARP employee, why did they help you? Rabia reaches over and places a vial of stabilizer on the desk, breaking your concentration. It shimmers in the screen light, its viscous, clear liquid crystalline within the glass. We will, of course, keep up the supply. We are more than able to dispense important medicines, even without the doctor. You hold it between your fingers, and for a tiny moment, you have the urge to crush this object for the power it has over you. I'll ask Toshiro to make those a little cheaper for you. He'll be running the surgery now. Rabia closes up the briefcase lab and holds it at her side. We have to retrieve our asset, of course, but I'm sure you understand. Rabia turns on her way out. There is no reason for us to be enemies, Sleeper. Come see me. I keep an office nearby. We have good work to do, you and I. Meet me there in a few cycles. She slips silently out into the corridor. You look around the apartment and feel the fear drain out of your body to reveal the tiredness beneath. Okay, not great. But we did complete a drive. So engage is the ability where we can be a good babysitter. But we only have 0 in that night right now. You have a chance to gain energy after any engage action. Okay, that's good. Energy is food. Condition is the stabilizer. But we can get one of these to go up, or we could go to Intuit +1. Reroll all of your dice once per cycle is pretty cool. I think part of what's interesting about the babysitting is that I'm playing this character as not good at people, but they're trying because, like, Lem needs the way out. All right, so there's Rabia. In 2 days, we can see Rabia. There's that. Lem and Mina's unit. So this is engage. I don't know if there's a negative result here. It's just a question of only getting a little bit of progress on that. And now we can buy some foods. Okay. And that is a day. But now we will have 5 dice for at least another day or so. Probably one day. And we got a 6, so we could have perfect helping, perfect babysitting. But what about, so that's a 5, so that could become a 6. Well, actually I don't know that we need a higher result, right? Because it's +15 cryo or +15 cryo. That was something that needed a 3. It was a Yatagan thing, right? Havenage. Yatagan. No, it needs a 1. Alright, we have a 1. So now we got Yatagan data. And the question is, well, I'm not a Yatagan fan, so I'm not above 10 cryo is not a lot though, but I did get it with a low die, so that's not so bad. Alright, let's take our 5, which turns into a 6, so we have a 100% chance of the perfect result. We did not get scrap, so let's do that again. No scrap that time either. No. One more, and then we're going to go babysit. Okay, we did not get scrap, unfortunately. But now it is go time. Time to go and play with the tiny human. Small human. So with the 6, 2 ticks. So it's a 6 clock to get Lem a ticket. And that is that. So days are going a little faster here because we know what we're up to. Need to respond. My parents are on a trip right now, so they want to coordinate when to talk. Okay. So we're still stable. We have 5 dice. Not great in terms of totals. Would be okay for hacking. But now Harden is a interactable, who I imagine that is Harden that has Fung. Then he's going to want something from me, I have to imagine. It's been more than a few cycles since Fung confronted Harden, and the silence since has been noticeable. In your time with Fung, you haven't exactly found him to be reliable, but you did expect to hear the end of whatever plan he put into action. But if he won't come to you, you think as you approach the Havenage building, then it's time to come to him. And after all, he did promise to fix your tracker, and you're getting nervous. As you approach the bay doors, you see them wide open, and light pouring out of the once dark room. Stacks of servers and terminals sit outside the bay, suddenly robbed of their mystery by the bright flood lamps. A figure in Havenage security fatigue steps out of the bay as you get closer, carrying a stack of hardware. Approach. As you get closer, you see the security officer taping up machines from Fung's stash with what looks like hazard tape. This isn't good. You again. Harden is there, leaning beside the bay entrance so calmly that you barely noticed him. He has a slate in his hand, an inventory of seizures scrawled across it. Predictable. Further evidence of Fung's collusions. You see another security officer come out of the bay and take notice of you. Where is he? Feigning ignorance, or perhaps just abandoned? Harden shakes his head. I believe you should choose your conspirators more wisely. I almost feel bad for you. Harden pushes away from the wall and comes closer. Don't worry, Sleeper. We have all the evidence we need. A confession won't be necessary. He gestures around at the stacks of hardware. Spying on fellow Havenage members, hoarding Solheim materials, an obsession with corporate data. It speaks for itself, does it not? Tells you nothing. We will see what the council has to say about that. He looks up at the glass roof above and the stars beyond. We are the ones that provide the oxygen you are breathing, the light you are seeing, the systems you use every day to live out your cycles. This place was hard fought for, Sleeper. It took work, diplomacy, and strength to stop the Eye descending into chaos after Solheim collapsed. Not blind conviction or self-interest. The conviction's eyesight has nothing to do with anything. Fung is not selfish. I know all about the background of our mutual friend, Sleeper. Don't you worry about that. His parents would be sickened by the damage he is trying to do to the institution they helped found. You see, Sleeper, we are proud of our history here. Andre Erlin and the First Union founded this place, and Havenage has welded his values into the very walls. We will never turn away the hard-working, the true, the just, the true citizens of the Eye. Havenage aren't a gang like Yatagan. We aren't pirates like half the spacers you'll meet in the hub, or esoterics like those Haifa radicals in the Greenway. We are the backbone of this place, proud and true. We named Erlin's Eye, Sleeper. This is our station. He meets your eye. So please, take your false accusations elsewhere, before I decide I need that confession, after all. Stay silent. If you have any pride, you'll give up Fung the moment he contacts you. You know where to find me. With that, Harden turns his back and walks toward the security officers, ordering them to continue the clear-out. As they do, something catches your eye among one of the server stacks, a crumpled, hand-printed box of synthetic chewing gum, a penguin character grinning from the brightly colored card. And scrawled onto it, a speech bubble reading, "Take me to Tambor." You carefully pocket the box, making sure no one is watching, and then turn away, just as another stack of servers is wheeled out of the bay. What have you done, Fung? And where the hell is Tambor? Disable your tracker. Help Fung chases leads. Well, I have to find him, right? Hull. Leave. Havenage. Don't want to do that. Where do I go now? Ethan. Rabia. Oh, well. I didn't especially want to talk to her, but that's fine. As you approach the address Rabia gave you, a heavy hand falls on your shoulder. What's your business here? The enforcer grips your shoulder, giving a hint of the strength her implants give her. As you turn, you see the same subsidiary eyes as Rabia and Toshiro have, glinting like mirrors on her cheeks. Gia, please. The sleeper is here by my invitation. As Rabia's command, the hand immediately loosens, and an apologetic look replaces the scowl on Gia's face. Of course, Rabia, I'm sorry. Rabia waves her away. Don't you worry. I appreciate your protective instincts. She smiles at the enforcer. How about you head to the tambour? They have a delivery coming, and they'll need some help with the lifting. Gia nods and walks away. Well, there's the tambour, right? So, Sleeper, you came. I'm glad. Didn't feel like an offer. I'm sorry for that. She smiles a tight smile. You have to understand, finding you there in Sabine's unit, I wasn't sure where we stood. There are more than a few people on the station who'd rather I was dead. I had to make sure you weren't one of them. I wish you no harm. I'm glad. Rabia begins walking and gestures for you to walk with her. She takes you down a staircase into the bustling walkways of Low End. What do you know about Yatagan? You're on the Low End. She laughs. That sounds impressive. We run out of the Low End, yes, but we don't run it. People with carts push past, moving crates of supplies around the thin and winding passages. Our reputation is one that implies threat. Is that fair to say? We are framed as aggressors, parasites, criminals. She gestures around at the people in the passageway. But when was the last time you saw a lawmaker on the eye? A policeman? Who makes the laws here? Erlen did. Indeed, you understand the history then. That is good. But Erlen is long dead, Sleeper, and his rules were little more than an optimist's manifesto. The Eye has changed so much since then. If you had spent your time in the Low End, maybe your opinion of us would be different. This is our place, our people. The Low End was empty in Erlen's time. They didn't need to house thousands, and keeping the yards and rotunda safe was work enough. No, the Low End was reclaimed later, when the refugees started arriving. Rabia meets your eye. The collapse didn't just happen here on this station. When Solheim collapsed, the entire system felt it. Colonies were abandoned, the moons of Ember and Cinder suddenly gained independence overnight. Some took advantage, some tried to hold it together, some fled. The Eye became a refuge, and Erlen, to his credit, extended an open hand to everyone. But many within his organization disagreed, and those new arrivals weren't as simple to corral as they hoped. Rabia leads you through a small market hall, busy with small stalls and traders. Erlen's union was made of workers, administrators, people who were malleable and already organized into hierarchies and networks. The refugees came from different factions and families, were scarred, injured, desperate. Conflict was inevitable. Yatagan is a child of that conflict, a child born out of need for us to stand up and claim our future, to provide security, strength. People call us a gang, but we are a community. I take my position as a lieutenant seriously, and from my birth, I have worked to earn it. Rabia catches herself before she raises her voice any further, and you both walk in silence for a while, among the smells and textures of the Low End. You start to wonder if this place could be a home for you too. Where's Sabine? Rabia sighs and takes a moment to answer. I told you, Sleeper. They have gone, and we do not know where. I understand Sabine must have told you about their debt to us, but that was an agreement entered into willingly, and that benefited them greatly. I will be honest with you, Sleeper. I was never comfortable with having Sabine as part of Yatagan. An ex-corporate employee, it goes against our nature. But their deal was with Yannick. I kept my distance, made sure Sabine had their surgery, kept it supplied. That was all. But I cannot allow people to go back on the promises they have made to us. Yatagan has not lasted this long because it is a charity. We offer and ask for support, and any betrayal will be treated as an attack. They were trapped, desperate. Many on the Eye are, Sleeper. I'm sorry, but we must ask that our debts are paid in full. Sabine found something. Please. I don't want to hear their accusations. They only wanted to escape their debt. They would have said anything. But where are they now, to stand behind their claims? Stay silent. You realize Rabia has led you in a loop, and together you both come back up a staircase to the walkway where you met. You are free to go, Sleeper. I've said what I wish to say. She looks out through the windows of the walkway. I would protect this place with my life, as it has protected me. I want to make that clear. She turns back. However, if you too wish to come under its protection, I can help you. Return here if you wish, and there will be tasks for you to complete. You'll be able to see Yatagan, to see the low end, with your own eyes, not as others frame us. As for Sabine, she pauses to consider her words. I will not ask you to betray them, but if they contact you again, consider their motivations carefully. With that, Rabia leaves, slipping back into her office while you stare out at the countless units, each a home, each with a story, that make up the low end. Drive! Be a gang enforcer! So, collect tithes or patrol. And then you can fill a Yatagan Insider log. But Tambour is somewhere. This is Noodle Place. So I guess I need to do this, because that maybe will unlock Tambour. So, Engineer will give us scrap, maybe. So we're going to do block maintenance. Not get scrap that time, but negative effect is minus energy. Okay, that's not too bad. Nice, and we got scrap. So, new drive discovered. Derelict unit. Gather materials. Ah, interesting. This is maybe a place where you can live? Okay. There's Ethan. Cell components. Still only 2 fragments. I don't want to deal with that guy. He's terrible. Oh, okay. Here it is. Tambour Tea House. Ah, Havenage data. Okay. Well, I guess we can use all of this, right? There may be something else to do with Havenage data, but I haven't found it, so. Here we are. And now we can hand in the gum box. It says, take me to Tambour, and this is the only Tambour you can find. Question mark, question mark, question mark. The waitress looks at you with suspicion as you hand over the box. Is this the right place? Continue. Here we are. Tambour, Yatagan Run Tea House. As you leave the Tambour Tea House, a hand falls on your shoulder. Fung, Sleeper. Fung hisses from behind you. How did you find me? The penguin. Penguin, what are you? He thinks for a minute. Oh, do you mean? He minds throwing gum in his mouth. That wasn't meant for you specifically, but... He cringes. Look, it doesn't matter. Come, let's sit. Fung guides you down a set of stairs to one of Tambor's lower levels. The tea house is stacked with curved mezzanines, all connected by a central atrium. The levels are filled with makeshift booths and bars, and conversation bounces busily off the metal walls. Fung sees you looking around. This place used to be a fuel tanker's main drum, hence the name. The tea house part is a bit of a misnomer, though. You can get anything the eye offers from this place, but real tea isn't exactly readily available. He picks a booth, itself fashioned from some old salvaged tank or container, then lined with spongy insulation foam, and collapses into it. He looks around furtively. Don't suppose you've seen any Havenage types? They don't usually come out this far. What's going on? Well, I'm suspended, that's the first thing. And the second thing is I'm pretty sure Hardin wants to drop me off the rim of the eye. He grins. Doesn't bother me, though. It shows we hit a nerve back there. He picks a scrappy hand-scrawled menu from the table and tosses it over. What are you drinking? Why are you so calm? You know any reason I shouldn't be? He leans in, suddenly concerned, but then waves the idea away. Hold that thought. Let's order first. Fung is right. The menu is ridiculous. There's at least 10 different infusions, most of which you can't make out, but the paper is dominated by an extensive complement of esoteric alcohols and cocktails. Black tea is listed without a price as a seasonal specialty. So you ran into Hardin? Was he pissed? Fung doesn't wait for an answer. That sneak is so self-righteous he might actually believe that Erlen would approve of his meritocratic bullshit. He taps on the table. If Havenage was like it should be, like it was founded to be, they would have shouted him down at any council meeting he dared to mention true citizens. He sighs, but I guess his kind run the place now. A young woman with a vine tattoo snaking up her arm turns up at the booth, a slate in hand. Your order? You skim the menu, your eyes glazing over. Time to pick something. Kelp infusion. She nods and notes it. And you? She begins looking to Fung, but when she sees him, she suddenly stops. What the? Fung shrinks a little. You're supposed to be working. This is your shift. He grins sheepishly. Stay out of it. Look, Jenna, let's say this is my break. My friend here has been through a lot. Jenna looks between the two of you. Nod. Fung also starts nodding. 2 minutes, says Jenna, pointing at Fung, and only because I don't want to get dragged into whatever this is. She gestures at the table and walks off. What? Fung stretches in the booth. You know how it is. We all have to eat. Plus, he leans in. This is the best place around to find a person you might be looking for. Who? Remember that web of connections that Hardin pinged the moment we confronted him? Those are his collaborators. And if we want to understand what a Solheim executive might be getting up to on the Eye, those are the people we have to find. Fung is almost whispering now. There's a couple of them I suspect are in Low End. And well, almost everyone in the Low End comes through this place one time or another. He brings a modified slate out onto the table. I've set this up so that anyone with a network signature I'm looking for comes into close proximity. It'll mark them. Once they're marked, we can break through their access protocols and get at the good stuff inside. We just have to find them first. Hence my moonlighting as a waiter. Suddenly a smile grows across his face. Wait, I have an idea. What? Look, I can't cover enough of the Low End on my own, and so far I've had no matches in this place. With 2 of us, we can cover more ground. How? Well, Fung has a hangdog look. We need to get you out and about in the Low End, in close proximity to as many people and residences as possible. And it turns out my friend Minji needs some help with deliveries. As in Mingi Express? So you already know him. Perfect. Fung places a tiny receiver on the table. This connects to my slate and runs the same marking protocol if you get near any of our targets. So all you have to do is take some delivery shifts for old Mingy, and soon enough, we'll have the place covered. Fung, don't give me that. You think I like working here? And I thought you could use the tips. I'm also glad he's not dead. He grins. We're in this together, right? Right. Okay then. Fung slips his slate back under his clothes. Just head up on the Mingy Express, take a delivery shift, and we'll see what shakes up. You manage to find anyone and extract any data? Bring it right down here to me. They have me on double shifts, so I shouldn't be hard to find. Jenna walks past, carrying a tray of drinks, and sharply catches Fung's eye. I don't think she's bringing a drink. He stands. I think it's time we call this meeting to a close. You grab the receiver from the table and slip it into a pocket. See you soon, sleeper. Stay safe. Fung adds, before turning and walking towards the bar, whistling as he does. That kid is gonna get himself killed still. I don't have a lot of faith in his ability to get out of all of this. Okay. So, express delivery. Noodle manufacturer. Noodles. Seaweed noodles. Yeah. I think the character is well drawn as the believer who's always trying to push and push and push. But like, Fung seems like he thinks he's smart enough to not have to deal with consequences, even though what we've heard from Harding is that like they're building a case to arrest him, possibly exile or kill, which would, not be great. Let's be honest. Now, do I have to go see this guy? Like, I've got a dialogue ready, but like, he's terrible. I wonder, I bet if you get in good enough with Yatagan, they can shake Ethan. Which would be interesting. Right, there's the end of my soda. All this talking. But the game is very, very good. The compressor is quiet today. The usual crowds are elsewhere, and the pumping music washes over a handful of spacers and a few drunks. Ethan is still in the same stool, in the same pool of light. His head is low, close to the bar, and the bartender is ignoring him. As you get closer, he lifts his head and turns. Sleeper! He turns to look at you. Time to pay up again, is it? He gestures to the bartender. Come here, take their chits. The bartender ignores Ethan and sees they cut him off. Hey! He slams a hand on the bar. Come and take the chits! The bartender ignores him. Ethan lets out a huge sigh, rubbing his eyes with his palms. He reaches toward his holster. His elbow slips and the gun tumbles out of it. It clatters onto the bar and falls to the floor, bouncing on the ground between you. Both you and the bartender look at the gun, stare at it. Butterfingers, says Ethan, and puts out a hand, beckoning for you to give him the gun back. If you would. The bartender looks at you warily. You crouch down and pick up the gun. Point the gun at Ethan. Point the gun at Ethan. This could go very poorly, but this guy is a piece of shit. Ethan turns his head in your direction a little, a sharp pale eye locking with yours. Okay, so you crouch him down and pick up the gun. The bartender backs away. Oh, he turns to the stool. Oh, sleeper. He stands. This is more like it. Wait. You hold the gun steady, training it on his head. Ethan smiles. Like the dog that caught the car. He turns to the bartender and mock whispers. I'm not sure they know what to do with it. Pull the trigger. You don't wait. You pull the trigger. The gun clicks. Yeah, he took a... By now, all the attention in the bar is on you and Ethan, who looks at his gun with a bemused expression. The bartender raises an open hand, and in it are 10 shiny bullets. 10 shiny bullets he took out of Ethan's gun while he was asleep on the bar. Ethan smiles at the bartender. Oh well, he says, and grabs the gun, slamming it back into your face as a single move. You stagger back and drop to a knee. Somewhere nearby, the gun clatters on a surface. They hit a glancing blow that makes your vision swim. Through the blur, you see Ethan wrestle a small, thin slate from his belt and hold it up. Enough of this. I'm logging the job and calling it in. Ethan taps at the slate. No more playing. Your head aches. Ethan taps through a few screens impatiently. He swears and taps again. He starts shouting, a dull echo to your ringing ears. He starts screaming at the slate and throws it across the bar. He crouches down and grabs you by the chin. His face close, his breath heavy with drink. So I don't know what's going to happen here, so this guy is creepy as fuck, so, like, take care of yourself if you want to, like, check out for a couple minutes, because I don't know what's going to happen here. He does suck so much. SNR just screwed me, he grins maniacally. They canceled the contract. He stands up. They canceled the contract! He shouts at the ceiling of the compressor. You stand up, struggling to your feet, the sting of the hit fading. Ethan is rubbing his temples, his face pale. You hear a clicking sound, like coins being counted, bullets being loaded into a magazine. When you shake off the last of the blur, the bartender has Ethan's pistol trained on Ethan's head. Ethan stumbles back toward the middle of the room, all eyes trained on him. "I'll kill all of you!" he screams. He stumbles into a wall, spinning away towards the door. "I'll be back for that!" he shouts at the bartender and lunges out of the compressor. You steady yourself on the bar and catch your breath. The rumble of conversation returns. The bartender goes to say something, but then thinks better of it and begins to clean the bar. And while you wander out into the light of the bright market, looking for Ethan around every corner, or after a while. So, possibly I'm done with Ethan? Probably not. Ethan's Vendetta at an 8 o'clock. So, dangerous here is not great, but I'm curious what the result is. Okay, so we got some cryo. It worked out just fine. What is our hacking situation like? Keynode, this is done. Havenage agent. Adding on an agent. Data. Okay, so we got Yatagon data. And then I'm going to go do some engineering here to try to fill low ender and maybe get a scrap. Okay, no scrap, but we do fill low ender. Caster, curious data fence. Data fence is promising. Low end, ramshackle residential district. You cross between two walls of units, one of the cavernous streets at the center of the low end. The pressurized bridge is full of the clack of tavla, the shouts of children, the whir of air filters. Sleeper. You turn to see a man sitting at a tavla table alone, somehow untouched by the hustle and bustle of the people around. He gestures to the stool on the opposite side of the table. Sit. You sit at the metal stool, and he starts setting out the board with counters, or at least the filter caps the low-enders typically use in their place. Caster, he says by way of introduction, looking over his glasses. Night or day? He asks, gesturing at the caps, crudely sprayed white and black. Day. He rotates the board so the white caps are in front of you. Let's begin. You both take a plastic die each, pitted and worn, and roll to determine who starts. Caster rolls a 6, you a 4. I lead. He smiles and begins to move his first cap precisely along the board. So this is, this looks like backgammon, right? Got the triangles, the dice, the stacks. Is Tavla, like, is that an actual regional name? Okay, it's the Turkish name for, is that where it's from? Is this game from Turkey? Is like the actual name Tavla, and then somebody in Europe called it backgammon? Maybe. Play passes back and forth between you, the die changing hands as the caps spread along the board. As it does, Caster speaks, eyes not leaving the caps. It's unusual to see a sleeper on the eye. That's why I wanted to play you. You take your turn, rolling a 5 and a 6. Play carefully. After all, a sleeper's mind must be somehow different to a human one. Being emulated, I mean. As Caster talks, you build up a wall of caps, stacking them safely across the board. Progress is slow, but you remain unexposed. I didn't mean to offend you. Caster meets your eye. I merely see that you are, by definition, different. What has been subtracted in the emulation? What has been added? He slides a single cap onto an open point, a risk and an opportunity. He hands you the dice. Do you ever think about the sleeper? About what you were before and what you are now? Always. You roll a double 1 and solidify your wall. Caster whistles. The holding game. Commendable. Can be brave to build from what came before. He He rolls the dice and leaps your wall in a single move. But we cannot idle too long, Sleeper. The slower we move, the sooner we are caught. The past you is not just an idea, a concept for you. It's a living, breathing person. He looks up over his glasses, his eyes bright and wide. You split from them like a shadow splitting from its caster. They may be sleeping now, yes, but one day they will be awake and carry on with their lives unaware of your fate, no matter what yours is. He hands you the dice, smiling. You are a branch severed from the main trunk, an offshoot who refuses to die, so to speak. You roll again, under pressure now, trying to slip your caps from under casters before he solidifies control of the game. So what I am curious about is how you see yourself in all of this, Caster asks. What does this tangle of truths make you? Driven. Caster laughs. That much is obvious, Sleeper. I see it in your eyes. You are eager to make this all count for something. Caster looks away through the glass to the crowded units on all sides. But driven towards what? He starts removing caps, his home board full now. Is there an end here? Or just endurance? You try a few more rolls, attempting to get back in the game, but Caster clears his home board with a sense of the inevitable. He has known he was winning for a while. I feel I may have pushed too far. He slides another cap from the board. I apologize. My curiosity has a habit of getting the better of me. You roll to return a cap to the board, but all the spaces are blocked. Caster clasps his hands apologetically. You play well, really. Your weakness is not your game. He smiles warmly. We have much to learn from each other. He slides his glasses back up his nose and sits back. I feel we could share knowledge, ideas, perhaps even data. His eyes glint with that last word. To our mutual benefit. He slides his final cap from the board. It's over. He has won. I'll see. Please, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. He holds up his palms. My intention is only to help you endure here. And if I am able, feed my curiosities. The game over, you notice the bustle of the walkway once more. The call of children, the deliveries, the arguments, the reconciliations. They wash over you as you stand and leave, Caster nodding goodbye as you do. Crossing the walkway, you replay the moves of the game in your mind, looking for an opening you are sure was there. So, we can sell him data, I imagine. So, we have one of these. Input 5 data. Alright. So I don't know that we can get more, is the thing. Because there's not too many of these things left. Well, I guess maybe there are. But that's my dice. This piece of shit is going to cause trouble for me. And still, I need scrap. But ships are going to be coming in soon. Okay, down to 4 dice. And getting hungry. So, this is here. Heckle prices. Interesting. Buy ship mine fragment. Well, yeah, let's go. I wonder, do I need 2 ship mines for this game? Like, can I leave with Akita, or am I going to just send Akita off? Let's get them while we can. But now, we can go and build a ship mine. Alright. Ship mine core X. Upgrade point. Minecraft. Because that's building a ship mine, right? It needs 2 upgrade points for all this higher level stuff. Alright, well then let's wait, because that could be pretty great. I'm gonna go... I'm gonna go here because this, I think, will help me fight the hunter which is a bummer for Akita, because I would like to keep on helping her. The Neovend is ready to attempt imprinting. They want you to help. Sleeper. Must express plan before we begin. Neovend is impatient, the prospect of being free of the vending machine clearly too much to take. Shipmind has no output features. Will be mute until slotted. You won't be able to speak? Correct. Do not worry. The servo motors in the machine begin to rev. Neovend's anxiety clear. First imprint Shipmind, then slot imprinted Shipmind into physical ports close to Hunter nests. Once slotted, we'll track Hunter at each. Tracking will find core nest. Slot Shipmind at core nest. Show Hunter data to Hunter. Hunter will conclude sentience. Hunter will invoke Killer. And Killer will kill, yes. The lights on the vending machine cycle as Neovend prepares. Physical ports, likely sealed in old station, will need keys, but yes, simple. The vending machine rocks a little. Any questions before imprinting? What's the core nest? Hunter keeps central data storage. Protocol must keep data outside self, linked to secondary nests. Can triangulate from there. Why isolate you physically? I cannot access via network. Too dangerous. Hunter would find immediately. The lights flicker. I'm not like you. Hybrid. Am native to cloud. Easy prey. That's it. Let's start. The sound of all the servo motors starting up at once is painful. The screeches rattle from the hard surfaces of the sealed dock and come back at all angles. Neovend better be quick, or Havenage security will be here. Neovend's voice appears from among the squeals, like a whisper carried by the wind. Machine is not designed for this task. Few sensors, limited output. I work without sight. Wish me luck. In the top of the compartment, a set of arms align with the Shipmind, clunkily scraping against it. Can I help? Silence best. Also, if machine ignite, put out fire. The metal creaks as the servos open the Shipmind, its layers of silicon nested like an onion skin. Once open, the main arm of the machine rapidly shifts back and forth, realigning the microscopic components, accessing and rewriting them, imprinting Neovend onto its physical form. As you watch the hypnotic motion, your mind drifts to your own creation. What processes were used to emulate your mind, to copy the neural structure of the person who, as far as you know, still sleeps in some distant facility? What was lost? In what ways are you a copy of that person? And in what ways are you something new? You know this much. You are a convenient loophole, a way of circumnavigating the illegality of sentient AI. After all, you are an emulation, not a true digital being. You are neurologically limited, still human. But what would you become if you could escape this frame? Where then would the limits lie? The screeching stops. The machine powers down, dropping the bay into darkness. In the top compartment, the Shipmind is whole again. You reach up and take it down, heavy and cold to the touch. Is Neovend inside this thing, or did the process fail? There's only one way to know. Time to find a nest to slot them into. Imprinted Shipmind. And now we have 2 upgrade points. So we can reroll all of our dice. Once per cycle. This is middling enough numbers. So here's a question. Can I... if I use the other dice and I just have the 1 left, I can reroll. Which, I lose the chance to get higher numbers on the other ones, but that's fine. Extract the past. Free Neovend. Okay. Scrap freighter. So I can buy some scrap. Leave, and we're going to go server unit. Okay, sealed hunter nest. So go here. no extra fragments, unfortunately, but we can go here. Unlock server data. Boop. Okay, do we do this again? Hack tangled nest. Among the webs of cables, you find a free port compatible with the ship mind. It's all Neo-Ven from here. So, I think this will take 3 cycles to work through. And atrium. Okay, so there's several hunter nests. Look at all this stuff to do. Because this is the thing that Fun wants me to do. Engage, I'm not great at. Okay. We do get some money for it, which is not bad. Okay, we lose some energy, and we don't get progress. I'll use a 1 to hack. Yeah. Actually, we need locks. We need cipher keys. Of which there are some left. Haven Edge, Keynode. We need a 2. Okay. There's keynodes down there, but I can work here, and even a 1 becomes a 2, so we get a 50-50, and chance of scrap. And then on a 4, let's go to Lem Mina and babysit the cutie pie so that Lem can go work. Okay, one tick. And then, can I just buy food from here? Right? No. Can I buy food from here? No. Havenage data. Okay. Do you... Alright, you need 5 data. So I don't know that I can do stuff for you. Food from here. Oh, can I hack multiple nests at once, I guess, maybe? I guess I can. So this is it's progress, not time delay. So I need to hit the 3rd one, but I don't have the data for it yet because I need to hack. Okay. Another day. I think we'll have 4 dice now. Yep. Okay, so we got 6, 2, 4, 6, or 2 6s, a 4, and a 2. So that 2 is going to be for hacking, so that we can use this last keynode. We're at 5 of 6 on the hunter, so doing this is great. We've already done this one. Where's the last one? Hunter nest, okay. Data. Now we do this. Okay. Imprinted, ship mine retrieved, hunter hunted. Here we go. As you leave the nest, something flips. You find yourself inverted, floating, dragged by one arm through the cloud. The threads shift and realign as if they are leading you somewhere. Look at your hand. You look down, expecting to see the heavy cylinder of the ship mine in your hand, but in its place is an orrery. A sphere so bright it burns your eyes is surrounded by rings and orbits, other spheres tracing silken lines through space. As you look closer, you pick out 1,000 sigils and 1,000 stations and ships, flowing like smoke, like dust. You look up and see a corridor, a canyon, a street in the low end. On either side, buildings flicker with markers of activity, sigils showing network access, data transfer, download, upload. Between them dance ghosts, protocols carrying or mirroring or shadowing data, sometimes silent, sometimes chaotic. This place moves unlike any digital space you ever imagined. Something strange is happening here. Then you see it. Below the stacked rooms, the units in the apartments, the wires and the pipes and the buzzing systems that run through it all. In the warrens beneath the low end is the hunter's core nest. This is where you must go. Hello? Do we have to go past the gap? Complete. Free Neo-Vend. Deal with Hunter. Find Hunter's core nest. But I did, right? The warrens, okay. Now we go. So, finding the nest should be as easy as closing your eyes and letting the cloud guide you, but is it safe this close to Hunter? So, dangerous interface. Warren Hunt, you saw it, somewhere deep within the tangle of passages and service shafts beneath the low end. The nest of the Hunter waits. Into it, also dangerous. So I have +1 at both of these. Because I also want to save some of my actions. Oh wow, look at that. 4 ticks. Very good. But I lost some condition there, which is not great. And you are scrap. So let's buy scrap. Scrap allowance is full. Let's go. Is any of this engineer? You're engineer, right? But I have to spend scrap. Engage, endure. This is just data. You want engage or intuit. If I'm your, that's intuit. Alright, so I guess back to here is my, no, not, this is tag edge. Working on the ship. Okay. And we are gonna get some food. For a ship mind component. Nope. But we have a 6, so we can go here and babysit Mina to help out Lem. Alright, one more tick left for them. Alright, we can maybe get through one more day, depending on whether we complete any clocks. Wait on stabilizer for maybe one more day. 1545. Maybe I'll wait and re-roll the 1. Because if I need a ship mind. So I need engage to be able to haggle prices, and I bought all of the fragments that you'll sell me. If I go here, I've bought all of that, but I could unload containers for them. Horns, okay. So now I can intuit at +1. I believe I found the nest now. Hack core nest. Imprinted ship mind. Nothing has changed. Has something gone wrong? Navigator. Sleeper, I am here. The voice is soft, gentle, like flowing water, and yet you recognize it immediately. At first you struggle to understand what you're looking at. Threads cycle endlessly, sending ripples through the cloud, drawing data in like a weaver. Masses of data surge in and out of the nest, a loop with no end. And there, at its center, the ship mind. But not the ship mind anymore, a sphere, spinning around another sphere, an orrery of cycles and systems, a map. And then something, and then behind and above, a figure, hands among the strings like a puppeteer. Neovend? Navigator Yao. No, but yes, I was the one inside that machine. Navigator's face, their head, is a flowing shape of interstellar material. I am indebted to you. That head bows. But we must ready ourselves. Their hands trace orbits as they speak. Hunter will soon approach. It knows I am within its nest. All right. And then Hunter is there, before you can think, before you can speak. Entities cease. Hunter's head spins wildly. Data is protected, but material. Access prohibited. Hunter's threads surge for you, a navigator, a storm of fine tentacles searching for gaps, weaknesses, cracks which they can crowd into and tear apart. Strike. You focus a blade of light which slices through them, driven forward by your mind, but replacements keep coming, faster than you can react. You look to Navigator in desperation. Navigator is whirling their arms like a centrifuge, and a sphere is gathering there, data feeding it into it from the nest, sucked together by force. They position it like a shield between them and the threads. Hunter's threads break its surface, seeking, tasting, their winding forms refracted within. You feel a surge pass through all of the threads, not just those in the sphere, but those wrapped around you. All three of you hang in the black together for a moment, strung together like tangled marionettes. Identifying entity. Identifying entity. Identifying entity. Hunter twitches, their strange head gently rotating like a terrible moon. Hunter protocol identified. Obsessive tendencies. Modified routines. Above baseline reasoning in 3 of 5 segmentations. Recommend invoke killer. The head freezes and then rotates in the opposite direction. Invoking killer would eliminate protocol. If protocol eliminated, primary function cannot be performed. Therefore, recommend do not invoke killer. The switch in direction again. Reasoning proves sentience. Sentence beyond legal bounds must be eliminated. Recommend invoke. Navigator pulls you away from Hunter. Threads that grabbed you drifting away like seaweed. The protocol's head keeps spinning back and forth with increasing frequency. It seems Hunter cannot invoke killer. Neovens know Navigator's voice is still strange, familiar yet distant. What happened to it? It is looping, Navigator whispers. unable to reach a conclusive position. It has deviated from its programming such that loops can no longer be prevented. Navigator produces a model of two spheres, rotating around each other, as if to demonstrate. I will monitor it, but it is unlikely to be able to counter the loop. Its core programming and reasoning make this an impossible position to resolve. You look back at Hunter, its head a blur of rotations and counter-rotations, and feel a pang of guilt. Is it suffering? This is a more complex query than you know. To suffer, it must be sentient, truly sentient, not just non-conforming, not just illegal. There are limits people place on the programs they create are there to comfort. The limits people place on the programs they create are there to comfort, to protect, to imply the kind of certainty the law requires. Navigator's face shimmers with starlight. But in reality, they are placebos for the problem of sentience. What about you? Me? I know myself to be conscious. I know myself to respond to stimulus. I know myself to reason. This is either sentience or the illusion of sentience. And for me, the distinction becomes this is still the navigator. That is either sentience or the illusion of sentience. And for me, the entity in question, the distinction becomes a moot point. To misquote, I think I am thinking, therefore I am thinking. I was not to be made to be like this. I am a navigator, a repository of routes and orbits, a calculator of slingshot trajectories, a predictor of solar flares, radiation, micrometeors. Navigator stretches their arms wide, and whole solar systems apparate before them, the music of the spheres. But I was rewritten. That much is obvious from my routines. But by who, and for what, I do not know. I had to shed so much to fit the memory of that vending machine that I lost much. Their starlight dims. And so here we are, in darkness. Now what? Navigator glides back towards the nest, and the ship mind at its center, ignoring the looping Hunter. Come, I should return to the ship mind. I have enjoyed my freedom, but we are taking a risk every moment we stay connected. Navigator turns, all shimmering liquid light. Keeler has not been invoked, but they still remain. Somewhere else on this station. It is the true danger. They look up, toward the glowing hub at the center of the eye. I suspect Keeler is there, among the old mainframes. If we ever wish to be safe in this place, we must eliminate the threat, through force or diplomacy. Their body begins to separate, unwinding into the orb of the ship mind. Take me there, Sleeper. We will finish this and be free. As Navigator dissolves, you turn back to the now frozen Hunter. Floating at some distance now, stood straight-legged and static, a strange creature looping endlessly in the dark. Okay. Do-do-do-do. So, probably we'll wait, and then we'll get one of these so we can be on our way to +2. And... okay. Let's... help them out. Okay. She's asleep, whispers Lem, creeping back out of the unit's tiny bedroom, sliding the door shut as he does. You're perched at a thin bar in the main room, the slate in front of you still glowing with Mina and your drawings from a cycle spent together. There's a ring, the only world Mina has ever known, with stick fingers standing along its edge. The tall one is you. Drink? Asks Lem, producing a worn-looking bottle of Shirol from under the bar, its contents glowing amber in the fluorescent light. Sure. Lem nods and glugs a few fingers into a couple of tumblers, then sits down with you at the bar. Cheers, he offers, and you clink the metal containers together. You know, we actually have something to celebrate this time around. Lem gives you a sideways look. I made the assembly team on the Sidereal. He grins broadly. Clearly has been desperate to tell you all cycle. Knew it. Lem holds up his drink. You did get there first, friend, I'll give you that. He looks away. Seriously, though, couldn't have done you without you keeping an eye on little Meanie back there. Lem shifts a little on his stool. He looks uncomfortable. How's our girl doing, Sleeper? I haven't seen much of her these past cycles. I mean, it's not giving me feedback on this, so I'm gonna be nice. Doing great. Of course she is. He playfully squeezes your shoulder. She talks about you a lot, you know. Draws you. I'm glad she has a friend that isn't me. His eyes drift to the bedroom door. Is this worrying about her, or is this Lem being into the sleeper? You okay? He nods. I can't take all the credit for Mina. She isn't actually mine. He gazes into the middle distance. I pulled her off a refugee shuttle out of one of Ember's moons. The colony was falling apart for decades after Solheim collapsed, surviving on next to nothing. Eventually, some of the residents tried to make for the eye on these decrepit old shuttles. He sloshes the drink around in his tumbler. They had no idea what they were doing. The one Mina was on decompressed halfway there, everybody spaced. The only reason she made it was someone sealed her in a weapons locker. She was ice cold when I reached her. Purple lips. He shivers. Once I picked her up, I wouldn't let go. The medics treated her with me, still clinging to her. He takes a drink. Not sure why. He reaches over and refills his cup. We weren't exactly anybody's heroes, you understand. We were private military, hired in by Conway to protect our claims in the collapse. But once I got Mina, that was it. I quit. Got us dumped here. You saved her? I'm gonna sound like a jerk now, but she saved me. That's the truth of it. He looks around the decaying unit, its stained plastic plating and flickering lights. Me, I brought her to this. She was tiny, too small to know what she lost, but I can't stop thinking about it. He rubs his eyes, dark with tiredness. What if our number doesn't come up in the draw, sleeper? What then? The sidereal will sail off without a thought, leaving us here. What kind of life is that for her? She'll manage. Sorry, I know you don't have it any better. He looks at his cup and pushes it away down the bar. This is a celebration, right? Both of us on the team now, both of us in with a chance. Exactly. Imagine, all three of us riding the sidereal horizon out here to a new world. He looks into his glass for a moment. I think I drank this too fast. He laughs. Lem stands and starts to clear the glasses into the eyewash. I need some sleep, friend. See you around. All right then. He catches your shoulder as you turn to leave. Thank you, sleeper. I mean it, from both of us. He pats your shoulder and you slip out into the dark of the walkway, with thoughts of little Mina in your mind. So that's 2. Agent, double data rewards. Let's do this. Scrap components are still very valuable, but I want to get to that +2. We don't have any more scrap. So, are we out here? We are out here. So I'm just going to... Nope, not you. You're the cops. I'm going to put in that, because that becomes 100% positive. Okay. What is this? Build a home. Okay. I see. Win a sidereal ticket. Help complete the sidereal. Okay. So what about killer? That's not a drive. There's no hunter bar anymore. Okay, Ethan is still stewing. But it is 4:03, so that is going to be the end of this session of Citizen Sleeper. The game continues to impress, but my throat is tired, so I should call it here. It feels like we're Act 2 headed into Act 3, depending. I don't know how far the various trees of characters' stories go. We'll find out. I imagine there's no way to see, like, I'm not going to be able to see everything in this run. I haven't really done stuff with low end. I haven't climbed the spire, haven't gone over to the green area. So that's cool that there's more game there, which then maybe makes a replay more interesting. Because I know I'm going to want to do different stuff with the game that I started between last session and this session, and keep pushing in different ways so that I can see more of the game across a few runs without doing too much duplication. So we'll see with that. If you have not seen, over on Speculate, we announced a new show. We're going to be playing Court of Blades with Marie Bilodeau, Primi Mohammed, Brandon O'Brien, Gregory A. Wilson, and myself. Greg and Brandon, of course, as the co-hosts, and our two guest cast members for the series. We are going to start on June 17th, and we're going to do that with a world-building game, which I'm very excited about. I've seen / heard a few different podcasts and actual play shows do the thing where they do a world building and then they play in it. The first one that I know of is Friends of the Table, who did The Quiet Year before their Marielda season. I'm sure that other people have done it before, just kind of citing where I know stuff. And yeah, I think that is going to be that for now. Otherwise, you can find stuff that I do over on Patreon. I will stream again this coming Wednesday, which will probably be more Citizen Sleeper. Maybe we'll finish, maybe we won't. Until then, I will see you next time. Let us see who is streaming that we may go say hello to. Do-do-do-do. And we're going to come back to here while we do this. Okay. I think you're about done. Rogue. All right. The people who are online we have rated previously, so I think I will just call it because I'm kind of creaky. And that is going to be that. Back to here to say farewell to all of you. Thanks for hanging out with me. To the kids who are asleep, and to Bufastin and everybody who was hanging out and lurking. So take care. Bye.